few seconds. So this one is looking good. There we go. We are live. NomadX community, Facebook fam, and everyone out there who is watching, listening. Welcome to the show. Another day, another life. And today we have Orest here, and Orest has so much knowledge, and it's like all over the place, and he will drop us some value bombs. We're going to talk about online business. We're going to talk about the digital nomad lifestyle, remote working scene, everything we're going to touch base on. We don't have a script. We do the freestyle here. So to start with, Orest, I'd say a little introduction from yourself. Tell us a bit more about your story and your mission.
I'm a Ukrainian digital nomad who is leading this lifestyle since 2012. So I can say I tried all the stages of the digital nomad lifestyle. You know, like first you want just to travel, then you want to work and travel, then you want to improve your conditions, and eventually you started building a team around yourself, and then you look, and then you think like, okay, like what's my base? Maybe I should come back to the roots, and this cycle goes on and on. So that's how it worked from my side. Also, I can say that I probably started the wave of digital nomadism in Ukraine. Organizing conferences, live streams, running a popular blog on this topic. So that's my life, pretty much, digital nomad lifestyle from our perspective. And the most interesting is that all my online activities I conduct in Ukrainian language, in such way spreading the idea here in Ukraine.
Awesome, bro. Wow, 2012. So you are in the game for 8 years.
Before Instagram time, you know.
That's a good way to compare it. Exactly, before Instagram. So from your perspective, because you're obviously a pioneer, you know the whole scene, you saw how it developed over the last few years. What are the most significant changes you see from your perspective? What was different 8 years ago than it is now as a digital nomad?
One of the largest tendencies I see at the moment is that people are starting to slow down, and they start to make the base, because like the technology permitted people to travel and work in the early 2010, like starting from 2010, from 4-hour work week. And, you know, like a few years, it kind of picked up. So people started like traveling crazy, promoting like work and travel at the same time and so on. But eventually, after a few years, maybe those digital nomads who are leading the lifestyle for at least 5 years will understand what I'm talking about. Is that once you once you're not hungry anymore, once you reach your certain goals in terms of traveling, or in terms of online earnings, you start thinking, okay, like what is behind it? Well, maybe I'm going to develop my business, or I want to visit every country in the world, or I want to like build a family and maybe look for my place in this world anywhere. So these tendencies I see, and many digital nomads who started like around 8 years ago, with whom I still keep in touch, it looks to me that they kind of find their own place. Basically, it can be some nice location, nice city, which is well developed and well accustomed to free spirits like we are, yes? And that's why over the last few years, we see development of such hubs as Lisbon, as what else? Like Medellin, Chiang Mai.
Bali.
Bali is big. I was in Bali in 2012.
Wow. Okay. That must be very different by 2012.
I had to use I didn't have a smartphone then, so in order to catch internet, I was there were such small pen drives that you had to attach to your computer.
Oh, I remember. Yeah. That's so cool. I love it. I love to look back. Myself, I am in my 7th year now as a digital nomad, and I'm even looking back for the last 7 years, I think there is so many things changed. Or what you said is super interesting, because I feel the same. Everyone who is somewhere between this 5 and 10 year period starts to settle down, and it's not gonna be like super nomadic anymore.
Maybe it's all to getting older. I'm not sure.
I don't want to talk about that, but you are right. That's the issue. We're getting old, right? We're getting a bit tired of traveling, but I also strongly believe in slow travel anyway, you know, like, and to have a few bases. And at one point, you're probably like, you just like done by living out of your backpack and you want to settle a little bit more, while obviously the new generation is still like super crazy on the run. But
I will tell you, slow travel, just to supplement a little bit your idea, is that for a few years in a row, at least like 5-6 years, I was leaving Europe in October and coming back by Easter, basically having these half and half years in northern climate, in like northern hemisphere and somewhere closer to the equator. But then I felt like even having those bases as a slow traveler, like in Bangkok, for example, or somewhere in Latin America, and having this base from where you can travel and explore the area was cool. But now, maybe because I ran out of areas that are possible to visit within like a few months period or what. But since 2 years, I started to spend more time in my hometown, Lviv. It's in Western Ukraine. It's a pretty nice city, actually, and I believe it has some future within the digital nomads as well. So I have a base here. I also rent like such a small office for myself, not to be stick to coffee shops anymore, and definitely working from home. And from here, I fly to some connection, like many places around, and come back. So basically, if for many years I was spending approximately 6-7 months abroad, but within one time framework, now I still travel a lot and still spending like over like 6 months traveling, but within shorter trips and having base here. Also, it probably, you know, first of all, I need much more systems and processes at the moment, and when I have a base, it's much easier to organize in my business. And secondly, the airline connections became much better in the last 5 years and much cheaper, which enables you to travel faster and further. So such things as well.
Right, that's very interesting, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's the same for us. We're kind of like, I like to have a base. In our case, that's Bali since 3 years now. So we have a base, and from there we go back and forward. But I found it really, really comfortable to have all my stuff in one space. And even like in our house in Bali, I have an office room and all my stuff is there, and you work. Because from my experience, what never really worked out for me, maybe it was different for you, but this whole work and travel, so building businesses and constantly traveling, this never worked for me. I always been more productive when I settle.
You're definitely more productive when you're settled. And I can tell that since it was my dream, as many people more had, to work and travel at the same time. But I would say you're always feeling overstretched in that situation, like, and suddenly the Wi-Fi signal drops down, and you have like an important call in 5 minutes. That you start rushing around, looking for a better signal. You know, so when such things repeat, you realize that you cannot build up. Right? It's possible to maintain situation in your business administratively, but if you want to develop it, you need more solid structure.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's the whole point of, like I said, moving slowly or having a base. And that's kind of like that dream of traveling the world, constantly being on the move and making 7 figures, you know, like it's just really, really hard to achieve. So I completely agree. So guys, for everyone who is watching, and I see we have a good amount of people jumping in and out of that stream, and we have a lot of people saying hello. So hello to everyone. So if you're watching that stream, as always, hit the like button, hit the love button, show us that you're here. And even more important, if you have questions for Orest or for me, now is the time to ask. Even if you watch the review, no problem. We'll make sure they're getting answered. Just drop everything in the comments. Later on, I drop you Orest's website as well, so you guys know how to get hold of him, and if you want to know more about what he's doing.
Don't forget to mention that it's all in Ukrainian language.
It's all in Ukrainian language, but I checked it out this morning, and Google does a very good job. It just translates everything for you guys, so it's definitely understandable. Orest, talking a little bit more about you, your journey and your career in the digital nomad scene, what would you say, what can people learn from you? what is your main expertise, or what's the biggest value you can give to others?
At the moment, my number one expertise, which I develop constantly, is helping people start and grow their business using my method that I elaborated over the years in the online marketing topic. So basically, I help start and grow businesses in Ukraine mostly, because this is my sphere of expertise, using various online tools. And my method for this is on this formula. So basically, it's a simple 5-step process which helps people know exactly which helps people stop guessing what are the needs of their customers and know exactly what are their I'm trying to phrase it in English.
Okay.
This method helps people stop guessing what the market needs and know exactly how to position and sell the product according to the demand. Yeah.
Got you. And that seems like that's what everyone needs these days, right?
Correct.
That's kind of like super spot on. You've been talking about the 5-step method you are using. Can you guide us a little bit more into details? What are these 5 steps?
Sure. So those are like 5 steps. And first is analyze. Second is platform. Third is audience. Fourth is monetization, and fifth is scale. So basically, first we need to make the proper research, getting what is the need of the audience. Then, according to particular pain points, we are building a platform, which can be a website or the social media profiles. Then, of course, obviously, you need the audience. You need to draw attention to those platforms where you can present what you're offering. Only after that, only when there is a platform and when they're meeting the needs of the people, and when there is audience, when there is traffic and attention, it's possible to expect for some kind of monetization, for some kind of sales. And once at least a few dollars and the business is kind of start operating, it means there is a signal, it's possible to scale. And then the process goes on and on. So
it goes on and on.
Very simple. But I'm working for a few years in this sphere, and always this large puzzle is connecting all the dots.
I like the simplicity and how you explain that. I'm super happy you just mentioned that everyone has to build an audience first, right? You have to, because I'm always like, you can have the best product in the world. If no one knows about it, you're not going to sell it. So building this audience is important. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Like to add, no problem. I would like to add is that the logic and simplicity of my formula is that the following step is not possible to pursue before doing the initial one. So basically, it's not possible to build a online platform if you don't know what you're going to present. It's not possible to gather an audience if you don't have some landing places for those, right? And obviously, as you told, no monetization can be expected without the audience, and you cannot multiply on zero. So you have at least to earn something before scaling it.
Yeah. That is absolutely true. You can't go from zero. You have to have at least a little bit to scale. I really like the way you put that out there. What is your personal favorite platform on social media these days to bring the audience together and to advertise?
You won't believe it, but I still trust in standalone resources, in standalone sites. So my main platform is my blog, is standalone resource. And then I use the social medias to supplement it. Because I'm a big fan of investing my resources and time and efforts into evergreen content, which will work for me for decades after I create particular type of content, as opposed to social media, which are developed in a way that forces people to run all the time. Correct. So so I don't invest into the platforms that I don't own, and I'm the biggest fan of my own platform.
That's awesome. I really like that. I really like that. Owning your own content and not relying on a third-party feature. We've been through that many times, because one of our big parts is obviously we rely a lot of Facebook, and then once Facebook gets down or your account gets blocked, and you're like, oh my gosh. So I really like the way you put that out there, and to have a standalone solution and owning the whole content, because that no one.
I'm proud of social media, so I'm active on every social media, like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. They are all relatively developed from my perspective, at least. But I still focus mostly on my standalone resource and building an email list.
Right.
So these are the real commodities that you own and that you can affect.
Awesome. So email marketing is still working for you?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I hear that saying many people still. I also believe in email marketing still, obviously, even if you hear a lot of people are like, email marketing is dead, it's not working anymore. I believe it's still a very resourceful asset. You can own, and you own it, right? That's kind of like, that's what it's all about.
From emails, like from one side, you can simply send an email. This is something you can affect directly. Also, a list of emails can serve as the nice ground of creating lookalike audiences in Facebook and all these social medias as well. Yeah, so you can use it in different directions, and that's why it's so useful, definitely.
Right. Awesome, bro. What would you say, going a little bit towards the end of this interview, what would you say, what was your biggest fuck up running an online business? If you could turn back the time, what would you do different or not doing it again?
I think I didn't really have many fuck ups as you might think. So I never.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was more like very like step by step growing. I never inflated my media with like too much ads, or some crazy viral things. But one of the toughest situations I faced were when I developed too large team around my activity in order to like super systematize everything, like delegate 100% everything. Yeah. And at one moment, this permitted me to freely travel around the world only with this, and like maybe spending a few messages a week with my assistant, with my like online CEO. But after, let's say, a year of such activity, I started feeling that I don't own the business anymore. It's like it's not my company. I didn't feel this energy that I was starting at the very beginning in 2012. So, and also the profitability went down when you hire many people, right? So I had to roll back a little bit, and now especially with the crisis, I feel that like I rearranged things just by the end of last year of 2019, and I have no idea how I could handle things with so many people at the moment. So basically, I got prepared to this, and this was a big lesson that when you start to when you want to grow aggressively, still do it with mind, because otherwise you can surround yourself with too many obligations, which are simply not easy to carry. So that was a big lesson.
Very, very valuable. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think you are absolutely right. That does make a massive difference. Orest, going towards the end of that interview, we have a lot of people in the community watching these interviews. They are kind of like on the borderline to start their online businesses or just started it. What would you say? You're as such a big expert in this field, your main advice, very short, straightforward. What's the first thing someone should take care of when they start their online business?
I would announce like the public question to people who are already following you, or at least who you think can be your target market, and ask what's their like main need in the field of your expertise. I would survey like 50 at least people to get at least 50 responses, go through those responses, and build 3 different typical solutions for that kind of problems. And then make only these 3 typical solutions fields of my expertise, and then create a blog and developing more ideas and more things how to deal with those three types of solutions. So because internet sphere is becoming so overcrowded and so complex, it means that specialization is very important at the moment. And the more you're specialized in narrow field, the more profitable you'll be eventually.
Absolutely. So it's all about market research and making sure you cover the needs. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much. Orest, this was highly, highly valuable. I'm super, super grateful to have you on the show today. That was awesome. What's next for you once the crisis is over? What are the plans for 2020?
Actually, I want to tell that I was super lucky to come back to Ukraine because I was on a conference in Australia. And I got on the last plane and I arrived to Ukraine 2 hours before the airports were shut down around the country. So it's like pretty tight, yeah?
Yeah.
And now I'm back at home, enjoying some time here, slowing down. A few of my trips, for example, to Namibia and Botswana are probably gone because we have tickets for May and most probably it's not going to happen. So my next trip, I will have to postpone this trip probably until September. And looks like this will be the next one. Who knows? Because I'm easy to pick up guy. So once borders are open, I'm the first one who's buying.
I love that. That's awesome. That's so cool. Amazing. Orest, again, thank you very much for participating in the show and sharing your knowledge and giving us all these value bombs. It was an honor to have you here. I wish you all the best. Good luck with all your plans, and I'm super stoked and excited to keep following you and see what you're coming up with.
Sure. Thank you for hosting me. All the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.